For Body Chemistry Associates and Health Connection Radio, I'm your host, Jay Foster. Well, I thought we'd end the year of 2019 with a bit of a holiday podcast, and I had picked up again Dr. John Lee, MD, the late, great John Lee, who was an expert on progesterone. I picked up his book called Natural Progesterone, The Multiple Roles of a Remarkable Hormone. And in the introduction, I found it interesting, but I'm a biochemist. He talked about the history of progesterone with mistletoe. So I thought talking about mistletoe was appropriate in the holiday season. And he said in his foreword, he was scurrying around to find an editorial pertinent to the holiday season. This is back in 1993 when this book was published. He said, during the week before the editorial due date, two intriguing articles crossed his desk. One was a Harvard Alumni Journal article on the mystery of the Christmas mistletoe custom, i.e., a license to kiss any lady standing under a sprig of mistletoe, a custom apparently originating with the Celts for reason unknown. The other was a JAMA story, Journal of American Medical Association story, of a doctor recently retired from a career at the NIH, National Institute of Health, who had visited his boyhood home in Texas and in conversation with a local gypsy lady, renowned for her successful, quote, morning after, quote, end quote, treatment for pregnancy prevention, discovered that her success involved the use of European mistletoe berries. The New World mistletoe lacked the essential ingredient for this effect. So it was like a morning after pill. They sell, a drug for that now for unplanned pregnancies, if it's done in a day or so after the insemination. So she was apparently quite successful. The New World mistletoe lacked this essential ingredient for the effect. His subsequent analysis of the European mistletoe berry found an unexpected high concentration of progesterone, as well as other sterols and glycosides, including digitalis. So the mystery to be solved was, did the progesterone and mistletoe berries have anything to do with the Celts' use of them, and what connection could it have with the Christmas holiday? Well, it turned out that the Druids, the physician priest leaders of the Celts, had for many centuries held a midwinter celebration timed to coincide with the winter solstice, starting on December 22nd, 23rd by our modern calendar. This event, lasting a week, was meant to celebrate the promise that the sun would not disappear, that's the shortest day of the year, would not disappear entirely, and that the world would not die, but would be rejuvenated by the return of the sun and the coming of spring. Debts were paid in full, gifts exchanged, feasts were laid out, and a sacred concoction of hot mead, that's that honey wine, laced with the mistletoe berries, which were cut and collected in white cloth so as not to touch the ground, was plentifully supplied. So they handed out mead laced with mistletoe to many of the participants. We now know, of course, that progesterone stimulates libido, and it's not difficult to imagine that whatever proscriptions there were against sexual license were relaxed considerably under the influence of the warm alcohol and progesterone drink. We also know that menstrual shedding is the result of an abrupt fall in progesterone levels, which undoubtedly occurred when the week's carousing was over. Thus, any conception that occurred during the week of unrestricted carousing would be lost with the induced menstrual flow, reinforcing the perception that festival carousing without subsequent responsibility was merely another gift of the gods. When the midwinter week-long celebration was over, the leaders proclaimed the start of the new year, and life among the Celts returned to normal. So their interpretation way back then was the gods were looking favorably upon them, let them party and have a good time, and without consequences, without pregnancy. So we know that progesterone is called the gestational hormone. You need it to have a successful pregnancy. And many women who suffer miscarriages, it may be due to a progesterone deficiency, not a progestin deficiency, a natural progesterone deficiency. There's a big, big difference, and many physicians and even endocrinologists don't know the difference between bioidentical hormones and synthetic hormones. So where does progesterone and these other steroid hormones come from? How do you make a steroid hormone? Well, you start with a molecule called cholesterol. And what I have witnessed is that some women with a very low cholesterol, and, if you look at the lab normals, they say anything under 200 is normal. Well, the trouble is you can't live with a 20 cholesterol. I saw a very low one about a week ago. It was like, 70 or something like that. It was very, very low. So a very low cholesterol being produced by your liver will prevent the steroid hormones to be produced in normal amounts, and that would certainly affect progesterone. Cholesterol is converted into pregnenolone and then into progesterone, the progestational hormone. And it goes up incredibly high during pregnancy, and that helps to maintain a normal, healthy pregnancy through the birth of the child. So if you have a low cholesterol, you won't make enough progesterone, you won't make enough testosterone or estrogens. And interestingly enough, the main drug to lower cholesterol, high levels of cholesterol, lowers it down sometimes too far, like Lipitor and Crestor. And isn't it interesting that Pfizer makes the Lipitor, which lowers cholesterol and therefore lowers all the steroid hormones, including testosterone, especially in men. And Pfizer also makes Viagra. So low testosterone can result in low libido, ED, and I wonder if they didn't really know that. So what does progesterone do? Now, I want to preface this by saying you should not just run out if you have symptoms and get some over-the-counter progesterone cream, because progesterone and these other hormones have a very, very narrow dose safety range, much more narrow than with vitamins. Like vitamin C, you can take a whole bunch of, and you're safe. The worst thing will happen if you get way too much is that you may suffer loose bowels. But no other real problems with that. But with progesterone and the other hormones, even though progesterone and DHEA are sold over the counter, that doesn't mean they're safe for everyone just to take willy-nilly. And by the way, DHEA is overprescribed and prescribed at a very high dose. Sometimes a health food store clerk will sell people a bottle of DHEA that has 50 milligrams. And when we start out, if we find someone through testing that needs DHEA, we start out with 5 milligrams. So, and then slowly raise it up. You don't want to start with such a high dose. And progesterone is one that we do tests for also. And those are the only two that we can recommend because I'm not a medical doctor. Those are over-the-counter hormones, but it doesn't mean they're safe to take in large amounts. So if you think you may have a progesterone imbalance, you can call our office at 1-800-CHEMIST. Local number is 305-670-6702. And talk about our body chem program, which we do first. And then if you need hormone testing, Dr. John Lee was a very big proponent of the salivary tests, but we would either do a blood test or a saliva test to see if you need progesterone. So some of the progesterone effects include they protect against fibrocystic breast, helps use fat for energy, acts as a natural diuretic, a natural antidepressant. It helps the thyroid hormone work, normalizes blood clotting, restores sex drive, normalizes blood sugar levels, normalizes zinc and copper levels, restores proper cell oxygen levels, prevents endometrial cancer, helps to prevent most breast cancers. Some breast cancers, if you've had breast cancer and they've typed it, if it's just ER positive, there's no progesterone involved, then you may be able to take progesterone without something you have to talk with your doctor. But it can help prevent certain types of breast cancer. It stimulates the bone-building cells called osteoblasts, so it helps with osteoporosis and osteopenia. Progesterone restores normal vascular tone, functions as a precursor of corticosteroids, the stress hormones, the natural anti-inflammatory hormones. Progesterone can help those. Increases sensitivity of estrogen receptors. Maybe you wouldn't need as much if you're taking a natural progesterone. Helps prevent prostate cancer in men, and also allows the embryo to survive. So those are some of the very positive effects of a natural progesterone. Bioidentical, human-identical progesterone. It's not the same as a synthetic progestin that you might find in like Prempro or Provera. The synthetics have all kinds of side effects, and even the ones they put into birth control pills are the synthetic ones. In that case, you may you may need it because you're taking it for a certain reason. But natural progesterone can help to solve a lot of problems, and I wanted to mention Dr. John Lee's books. He wrote another one, what I was just reading out of, was What Your Doctor May Not Tell You About Premenopause, and his companion book to that is What Your Doctor May Not Tell You About Menopause. John R. Lee, MD, I believe he has the same website as he did before he passed away, johnleemd.com. But those books are widely available and give a lot of information that your doctor may not know. So more information on our programs. We do a full set of body chemistry tests to determine which nutrients you need, what kind of chemical imbalances may be affecting your system. And for more information on that, you can either call us at 1-800-CHEMIST. Our website is 1-800-CHEMIST.com. And the local number here is 305-670-6702. We can handle anyone in the state of Florida through video call. And outside of Florida, you'd have to have a physician recommend us to you or you to us. And we have pre-printed letters for that. So more information on our programs, 1-800-CHEMIST, 1-800-243-6478. This has been Jay Foster on Health Connection Radio for Body Chemistry Associates. We'll be back with you on a future podcast.